Hello, I'm Martin Dorfling from Cataclysmic Science. Today we're going to look at the data analysis and presupposition in archaeological research of ancient civilizations. Now, what does that mean? So basically, let's look at, there's an old philosophical idea of Archimedes, which is, give me a place to stand and I will move the world. Meaning that if we want to investigate a certain concept, a problem, a scientific principle, we shouldn't stand in the middle of it, or we can have difficulties in seeing the problem if we stand it. We need to stand back and see the problem or the thing that we investigate from a distance. Now, I'm going to use that in the topic of advanced ancient civilizations, right? So there are different presuppositions that we have. Those are ideas or fundamental ideas and foundation that we stand on to interpret our data. Now, just to quickly mention in this figure here, I've identified three groups. Maybe there's more. Let me know if you think there's more or less groups. But so there's the Darwinian evolution worldview. Those people have a certain idea how they see the world. Then there is the another group, the Mysticism or extraterrestrial group, and then there is the third group, which is basically believe in the Genesis account of the Bible, of instant creation. Now, to be honest, I fall into that group. So the way I'm going to interpret my data is going to fall upon those principles, but you always keep the main important thing is to keep in mind that there are different worldviews. And to be honest, as a scientist or a historian, when you research things, stand back, get your Archimedes point and just say, okay, I have this data, let me interpret it on different foundations, from different angles and with different presuppositions, and just see how your data changes. Right now, so I'm just going to give you three quick examples of things that I use in my analysis of advanced ancient civilizations. The first one is population growth, and this is actually one that no matter what the field, we all should agree on this, because everybody should just go home, take a piece of a pen and paper, draw figures, and then take an Excel sheet, work it out, see if you have a human population. You start with a couple of people and they have kids over certain generations. You can play with the time in between or how many kids, and just see how fast the population grow. So I have my data, many times worked it out, different sets of data. There's my population graph on screen. Then another big important thing is your geologic model, how you view things happening on Earth. So the world is not a static system, it's actually very dynamic, constantly moving and things happening. The best geological model for me is the hydroplate theory, which explains a cataclysmic event. There are other models and theories that also fit into that. It's not the only model from my field of the presupposition which I stand on from the Genesis account. There are other guys with also interesting good models. So yeah, as I say, I like to use the hydroplate theory, and then my graph here basically explains energy events, high energy intensity events, and then how many times or frequency of times they can occur. So with the hydroplate event, there's only one event and there's a lot of energy released there, things happening, and then a lot of smaller after effects, geological processes that kicks in. There's small volcanoes, earthquakes that cause localized floods, many events. I really recommend you check out the hydroplate theory in detail. Then, okay, so you would need a source. I suggest everyone should get a timeline of human history and try to really get a source. Give your source. So I'm taking Genesis, the Genesis account for my source. I think it's very well proven and established in history, in archaeology. So basically it gives us the following. It says there were a pre-flood civilization, and that would got completely destroyed. There was a big cataclysmic flood. Then there was a civilization after that, and a while after that it scattered into many nations. So just so that's the orange lines there. The one civilization and an orange line, then something happened, still one civilization, and then many orange lines, just representing many civilizations. So I have all three of those data sets. So that's what I use for my analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them, throw them all there onto one graph, and basically I end up with this. I see that I've got this one ancient civilization which is pre-flood, and then my geological model tells me there's a big cataclysmic event happening there, right? And that goes into my second civilization, my post-flood civilization. I can see there's a couple of other extreme geological events, weather conditions, ocean currents and sea level rising, mini ice ages maybe that follow on it. And I also can see the blue line is the population growth, still a small population starting to grow, and then I go into the next phase of multiple civilizations suddenly, and still small events happening, and the population that suddenly starts to skyrocket. So typically for those multiple civilizations, this is where you get the Sumerians, the Egyptians, all the other so-called ancient civilizations out there. Now, for them to suddenly build all these cities of brickworks, they need manpower. I just need to jump back. The previous civilization where they were all together, right? They were building the Tower of Babel, which was a brick city and a massive tower. And then, so everyone basically could build, and then they split up, and now the manpower, the population grows, so the manpower increase. So wherever they are, once they are settled with agriculture, they have enough food, security, you want just as many children as you can, and the manpower increases, and now you can start building big architectural works. So this is just basically the data that I use, throw it together. That's if I would call it my Archimedes point, where I stand back from everything, and from that graph I look at all the data from ancient civilizations, and according to that I interpret my data. I hope it makes sense to you, and please guys, let me know your models. If you have another presupposition from where you stand on your population growth, your geological models, your ancient sources for civilizations, how does it all fit together? There is mine, and I'd like to know more about your presuppositions for data analysis of advanced ancient civilizations.